All right, Gerry. it's another Sunday afternoon slash weekend slash I guess evening for some people. Maybe for you it's afternoon. Maybe it's evening. Never mind.
That's evening.
Hopefully, yeah. It is starting to warm up here. It was only 50 something degrees today, but that is like shorts and parka weather this time of the year here in Denver. I think where you're at, what is it, up to like 105 now or something?
It's close. It's probably like 80.
80. Wow, that
It's
is
hot enough.
crazy.
Yeah, it's too hot for me already.
Well, we want to thank everybody for joining on this Sunday evening. And maybe I'll just kind of run down how the week went for me, kind of what my P&L is, and for the month slash week, where am I look at going and all that. And then you could kind of recap how your week went, how maybe this next week is going, or, shaping up, I guess. Where earnings is coming up, so that's kind of making it tougher to put stuff on because, I'm like, I want to put a JPM on. Oh, no, it's got earnings. I want to put a Palantir on. Oh, it's got earnings in early May. I guess I could, go out a couple weeks. But so this week, I was up $1,100, my options account. That puts the total for April at 1645. And that is significantly lower where I'm normally at, this far into the month. But as we were talking about last week, it's been tough to get premium. So I'm starting to get a little bit more aggressive on the strikes instead of doing doubling up at $250 premiums or something like that. I'll do like $170 or $180 premium or something like that. A little bit more aggressive, but a little bit less contracts to try to make up the difference there. So it has been a little bit tough. The option play of the week for me was Palantir. It's like on the thumbnail that you saw there. Thump and I had the exact same expiry on going out to May, and it was right after earnings too. So we both took it off. I was up 30%, made like 200 and what some odd dollars off of that, $280 off of that. Literally after holding it for, I think it was just a couple of days or something like that. Let me see actually what the holding time was on that now that I think about it, because I actually have that stat. Palantir. Where the hell is that? Help me out, Gerry. Oh, right here. 2-day hold. Sorry. 2-day hold, $218. That's pretty damn good if I'm not, you know what I mean? Like I'll take that all day long. So that's the reason why we took it. And, kind of just, hey, let's open up the floodgates for earnings to come in and then we'll put some new stuff on. So that kind of wraps up how my week went. I do have a pretty light, I guess the next 3 or 4 weeks of premium sitting out there. It's not very heavy. So Ant Flow has been pretty nice to me, but in a bad way. So maybe you want to talk about how your week went.
Yeah, pretty similar. Like you said, finding stuff to put on has been tough. I've been playing a little bit in the small cap arena, not spec arena, but small cap arena. I've been finding some plays there. Ended the week just shy of $600, so I can't complain there for as tough as it's been putting stuff on. I really don't know what my top play was. I'll just check it real quick. Maybe I can figure that out. But yeah, it's been kind of tough. I think TQQQ has been my biggest profit maker for the week.
Interesting.
With NASDAQ. Well, they've kind of been long holds.
So so you put it on maybe when the market was down more.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But other than that, just trying to find things is tough. Like you said, with earnings, I think the Russell 2000 ETF, I think I put on. Okta was another one. What else? Nothing stood out. It was just an unexciting week, to be honest with you. But ended it with profit, so I can't complain about it at all. Ended up being still light going into the weekend. I'm about maybe 35 to 40% used right now. So I got some room to put some stuff on this week. So
we'll see. Some shit to put on. I'm at 44% used as it sits right now. That's pretty surprising, actually, too, for me. I do have 10 contracts of O on. I don't know. I don't know how I got up to 44%, honestly. There's no Amazon on right now either, so I don't get it. So let me go through some shout outs here. Let's also just say, hey, I know Randy's in the hospital. He's going to have triple bypass surgery this week. So please, I'm not a very religious person, but if you are, go ahead and do what you do normally for those types of situations. He's had a really tough, I'd say last month or two. Had a heart attack just a few days ago.
Yeah.
So took his first helicopter ride ever in a Chinook. I don't know if it was a Chinook, and took him over to a different part of where he lives. And so just think about Randy. We're going to miss him this week, and in the chat here as well. So we do have investing teacher that will be coming on here shortly. So he'll be talking about, I'm kind of just going to question him a little bit, and he's going to talk about some strategies and how he gotten started and all that stuff. He does have a YouTube channel, so we'll post that here in the chat as well. We'll just kind of go through a couple of these, see if I can get caught up here. Futures down, yeah, they are down a little bit. Nothing scary. Pretty typical, given the market's up so high. This literally. This really doesn't mean much, 40 or 50 points down used to be, 10 years ago, that was a lot, but now it's not. J&J, there is some news that came out about J&J, not only the adverse effects from the vaccine, but apparently scrapping, 14 million doses? Is that what it was? If anybody can remember, or if that's what the reason possibly why you think it could be down, let me know. I just caught it on the news, something about scrapping 14 million doses or something like that. We got Gerry's wife in the house. What's that?
So it could be a good opportunity. J&J is not typically a great premium payer, but with this news, it might present an opportunity. We'll have to take a look at it.
I will certainly. I would have no problem opening up in a PMCC on it. Mm-hmm. If it got down to say 152, maybe at the 200 period moving average 155. I don't know. Maybe I'd open something on it. I don't know. Maybe some CSPs down at 140, 142 or something like that could be a bet if there's some premium out there. But let's keep our fingers crossed. Maybe it does. Maybe it does take. It is in my dividend portfolio, so I'm not really wishing for it to go down. But let's see here. They late. We not late. Right on time there, Thumper. Hello to chat and host and guests. Vernez, is that how you pronounce it? Vernez Junk Closet?
Maybe Verns.
Verns. Yeah, I don't know. I'm terrible at that. I should let you pronounce stuff. Hey, greetings to you. Welcome for joining. We got Market Scraper here, which he has, preliminarily, tentatively said he wants to come on next weekend. So hopefully, his schedule is free by next weekend and he'll come on. Let's see here. I have a lot of Palantir shares, so you're probably just wheeling Palantir. Probably. It's probably not a bad one to yield or wheel. It's just my luck. The wheel will end up being like a square wheel or something like that. It just won't work out for me. But I don't know. I like to just razz Matt money on it though. And just kind of bust his balls on it. But it is what it is. All good. Thank you for joining. TQQQ. I have a hard time getting into TQQQ when the market's up like this. I'm waiting for at least like a 2% down day in the Qs or something like that before I get back into it. SOXL, I think I have one of those on right now, actually. Yeah, I do. I got a 40. I got a 27 on. 9% probably in the money, 50 cents. I got two of those on. They paid me to trade that one too. So
what strike?
27. When does that one expire? Holy shit. That's May 21st. That's not normally me. You know what it is? When they're trying to look for a premium to put on, it's like, and there's so many earnings, like, oh, you just put a freaking ETF on and not worry about it, right?
Yeah.
Andrew, what happened to 8 o'clock? I'm old and tired. Well, I don't know what time zone you are. But with this stream has been like this for what, over 2 months now. So it is what it is here.
He's just tired.
What's that?
He's tired.
He's tired. Let's see, only 28% deployed here. So you are conservative. You probably have 5 contracts on it and it's using 28% up or something like that because you're so aggressive in your strikes. Thumper killing it. Yeah, he is killing it. I'm going to take a page out of Thumper's. I'm going to get a little more aggressive on the strikes, probably. Nowhere near how aggressive he is, but Thumper killing it as usual. We got Rumpelstiltskin here. Dave, what was up with Kyle being sympathetic to CCP and at Stream Friday? What's CCP and call us? I was gonna say communism, but it's not communism. What is
it
that?
Is, isn't it?
Is that
the
communism?
CCP is the Communist Party something.
Well, first of all, Canada is not as free as we are here, okay? They have no First Amendment, all right? There's no Second Amendment. They have no First Amendment. There's no freedom of speech there. So I would say it's definitely closer to communism than it is here, but, I mean, is that really communism? I thought he was joking, but I don't know. I'm trying to get to the bottom here before I bring on Lance. Lance is sitting in the backstage here. I'll bring him on in a few minutes. Coinbase IPO this week. I don't know. I'm not so excited about it. How does Coinbase make money, I guess? Do they take like a small fraction of a transaction? Is that what they do? Let me know if that's
how. Isn't that how they all do?
I don't know. I don't know how they make money. Maybe they have ads on their site or something. Potentially for those that hold Mara Riot. There you go, Gerry. You just mentioned those before we went live. I looked at Riot. I looked at Mara. There's no freaking premium out there. I don't know what these people are talking about. Unless you're wheeling it and you're going at the money, you're going like one strike down. Like that's
you gotta
just
be aggressive.
It's not my ball game, but I'm trying to get down below the 200 period average or where I think the stock is worth or the support is major support, and then there's no premium out there for me. So apparently we should be more understanding of CCP. I'm not sure what you mean by CCP. I don't remember him saying anything about that either. Maybe it just went over my head though. Good to be here. Hey, thanks for joining, Richard. Matthew, what's your Palantir play? It's the CSP or a naked put, whatever you want to call it for me. I don't have anything on it right now because of earnings. I took it off, but that was the play. It was just a CSP sitting out at a 20 strike, 23% probably of the money. That's really high for me, out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And what even made it worse than that was 15 contracts.
Oh, dang. I got a couple sitting out there for April 23rd at 20. And then I was wheeling it in my Roth. Just got called away this past Friday, so I might be initiating another put in my Roth on Palantir. We'll see.
So 361 on Firehot Dave. I'm not sure what that is.
I don't know. Oh, but CCP is the Chinese Communist Party.
Oh, is that what that stands for? Gee, I thought it was a ticker. Jeez. What do you think about realty income? Oh, I love it. Just look at my top 5 video I just did this weekend. It's in there. Best read out there. Best in class. Not according to Kyle, though. He'll leave it out of his top 3 best reads, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's a shout out to you, Kyle. Shot across the bow. What else we got here? It's good y'all come live after my work. Hey, that we're out here to appease you for sure. So, let's see here. Everybody else send their work schedule, and we'll make sure we put the live stream around your work schedule. I went foolish on sold a 26. But yeah, I got called to me. Did a wheel strategy play out? You know what? It's probably not a bad one to wheel, but honestly, to me, I just feel like it's risky. I would rather just try to CSP it down low and not have it, because I feel like it could just drop to below 20 easily, no problem, one freaking day, and I don't want to be stuck in it. So that's me. Okay, so Lance is sitting in the back. I'm down near the bottom here. So let's go ahead and bring Lance on here. We all think of J&J. We go down till 140. Be a great price, by the way. I'll probably load up the boat. Let me see if I can.
Let him take his drink.
Oh, it's hibiscus. It's not.
Sorry, I didn't look when you were taking a drink. Hey, thanks for joining, Lance. I know we've been back and forth for the last few weeks or so. You've been busy and whatnot. I also know that you had a 50th birthday. That's a 40th, but
10 years ago, yeah.
Happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you.
So you're slightly older than Gerry and a lot older than me. Not really.
Doesn't seem like it on camera. Maybe it puts an extra 5 years.
You're actually younger than both of us. Gerry, you're probably just I'm a little bit younger than Gerry, and you're a little bit younger than me. So, hey, I know probably it's been several months now, but we've been going back and forth on our YouTube channels for quite a while, watching your stuff, you watching my stuff. I kind of want to just, I want to talk about some questions. Maybe you just want to introduce yourself first.
Sure. Yeah. So we met, I think it was JMac Investing, possibly about a year ago or so, because I know we both post on there. I'm a moderator on that site as well. And definitely saw a lot of interesting dividends at first. Wasn't sure that you were doing much on the cash secured put side. And then definitely like a lot of your videos. Main one I noticed was VYM, and I was going into VYM at the time, so that's how I definitely followed your site. And Gerry, I did see a bit of yours with your covered calls. Was it with? I know you did quite a bit on QILD, JEPI, all of those, and that was about a few months ago as well. So definitely following a lot of those particular advances here. I was actually in RYLD. That was the small cap, similar one to QILD. I actually did it in, I think it was May of last year, at the very beginning, that it actually opened the fund. So I wanted to get in on the ground floor, and I held that for pretty long time, almost a year. So now I'm doing pretty much cash secured puts, covered calls primarily. It's almost 100% of my Roth IRA at this point. My wife's Roth IRA, she wants to be much more conservative. We're staying on the dividends. Just heard Realty Income. It's one of our favorites as well. Store Capital, AT&T, Pfizer, things like that. We'll own 100 shares in that account, do pretty conservative covered calls there, pretty far out of the money, just to get a slight boost in the premium for the dividends. And then in my Roth IRA, I'm going a little bit more higher IV plays. I go pretty far out of the money in most cases. The deltas are still relatively low, 0.1 to 0.3 in most cases. I've been doing monthlies and weeklies. There's not really much preference there. Recently, I've been doing TNA and the weeklies. I just started that last week. Okay. Yeah, but I'm pretty far out of the money. I'm only going for 1% for the week in premium. So last week it was around 87, I think. I was about 84 when it was around 91. So there's a little bit of a cushion there, although those leverage funds, they could move in a bat of an eye, of course. So I think I'm going to be doing quite a bit on that TNA or TQQQ. Just try to stay about 1% a week premiums. I'm not going really close to end the money, anything like that. And then if I do get assigned, those premiums on the other side and the covered calls are looking really good. So I just set one up on Friday for, I think it was 81. And right now TNA is around 90.4 or so. So again, pretty decent cushion, almost 10% out of the money in a week.
What was your strike?
I was at 81. I got it on Friday.
Oh, that's not. Yeah, that's just what, 7 days, 7 to 10 days?
Yeah, it was 7 days. Last week I did one at, again, around 83 or so when I was at 90, and I bought to close it at 5 cents Friday, just so I could open up the new one for this week as well.
So what's the premium sitting at, like 83 on that?
Let's look it up.
Days.
I did it on Friday.
The bear or the bull?
It's the Bull 3X.
Yeah, for small cap blend fund. Friday around 1 o'clock, the stock was at 90.34, sold the strike at 81 for $84 in premium. So it's slightly over 1%.
I'm gonna have to add that one to the list, Gerry.
It's on my list. I just haven't pulled the
Because
trigger.
I've traded that in the past as a stock trader, but never done any options on it. So
The delta's 0.17 when I did it as well.
that's not bad.
Yeah, and if
ETF.
you're looking now, obviously on Sunday it might be a little different, but you could go for it's 91.47 right now. If you want to get 1%, you could go at the 83, pays $87 for the midpoint. Actually, it's higher. The midpoint's 96. The bid was 87 for the 83 strike. You could even go to the 82 strike, and the midpoint's 81 on that one. So looking at over 10% out of the money for the week.
For me, I'd probably get a little safer on it. I wouldn't make as much, but I'll probably like go multiple contracts. So you literally, in your one breath that you introduced yourself, you pretty much went through almost all of the questions.
Well, there must be more
Delta, you talked about DT, you talked about your ROR, literally. But so you were a dividend investor, kind of like I'm still a dividend investor. I got to have that coma money, right?
Yeah.
But you kind of went the way of, the dividends are for chumps, like my video, right? You got almost out of all your dividend stuff, at least in your account, right?
Happy life. I got to keep those dividends in my wife's account, though.
That's fair enough. Got to have some, you got to appease her too. I don't have a wife, so I have nobody to appease. But, it's good to have that coma money coming in. You don't got to do any work for it; just comes in, right?
Right.
So in your account, you sold out of almost all your dividend plays, and you're wheeling mostly. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I started with 10,000 in the beginning of the year. I left the rest in other ETFs, and it was going really well in January into February. So I just slowly went in more and more. And now I'm at pretty much 100%. I bought some Roblox stock because my daughters really like Roblox, and I had to get it for them. But besides that, the rest is wheeling right now.
So did you? What the hell was I going to say? So are you able to share what your returns are this year and this month so far?
Yeah, I do weekly videos every Friday or Saturday, and I show all the positions that I made for the week. I also go over some of the possible positions for next week. So if anyone wants to check in on that. From January this year, I started with 10,000 I was investing, and I made 1655, so 16.5%. Got a bit lucky on SNDL that month because the stock just shot up, and I happened to have a covered call at 2 there when it was around 78 cents. In February, I was still at 10,000, made 1,079, so a little over 10%. I bumped it up to about 25,000 in March and made 982 there. So that was about 5% in March. And currently I'm at 35,000 in the Roth.
Did you get affected by late February and early March at all?
A little bit. It turned into the early March because I had some positions near the end of February that I did have to roll a little bit out. I know CCIV, XPEV, all those electric vehicles. Took a few extra weeks to get back to pretty decent gain in the end on it.
I think we all got, it's part of the game, right? I mean, market just doesn't always go up, but,
that's not
we
what
all
they
say.
Yeah. That's not what I was told.
Well, yeah, I mean, Gerry and I talked about it a few weeks ago, but we both decided to take losses, some losses, and then, we ended up I had a positive month. I salvaged a month, but it's just part of the game, right? So you typically, how are you finding your stocks? Are you doing an IV scan or what?
Yeah, I started initially with swaggy stocks from the Theta gang on Reddit and all that. Then I advanced a little more to Thinkorswim. I just set up a weekly and a monthly scanner. My main goals are to get the end goal is 2% a month. I remember a few weeks ago, you're like, you can get that easily. And
a little bit harder now.
At least right now we are. Who knows in a bear market? But my initial positions are usually double that. So I'm looking at 1% a week or 4% in the monthlies. And I usually start near those numbers because I figure not every position is going to work perfectly. You might have to roll some out. You might have to get a sign, and the covered call side will be a little less. So I figure if you could average in the initial positions 4% a month, can manage them down, maybe average of 2% if you need to.
So how does that work for you? Because to me, you're doing a 1% a month 1% a week per position, but you buy it back. Do you calculate that in there as well? Like, okay,
Not in the initial buyback. If I'm able to buy back at a higher rate than what the initial rate was, so if I'm getting 1% in a week and I could buy to close, I typically go 75% of the premium and half the trading.
but that
time.
won't get you the 1%, right?
Not in that particular position, but the average would for the time period. So let's say I got $100 in premium on Monday and I could buy to close it for $25. If I could do that by, say, Wednesday, I mean, that's over 1% for the 3 days. It's not exactly 1% that I received, but compared to the whole week, if I could open up a new position Wednesday, for example, it could be a higher rate. So yeah, I typically go about, if I could get 75% of my premium back in half the trading time, so 2 days on a weekly or 2 weeks on a monthly, then I'll typically do it to find a new position afterwards.
Yeah, no, I think we both do that too. What do you, besides buying power? I mean, are these all cash secured? Or
Yeah,
you
all
use
cash securities.
marginal?
It's all in the Roth IRA. I'm
Oh,
not
it's
doing
all
any
Roth.
margin.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought your wife had a Roth and then you had like a regular account.
We're both doing this on the Roth IRA.
Okay. So I mean the wheel strategy is a great strategy. Gerry just started doing that too in his Roth. I don't
Tax
have a
protected
Roth.
gains, no taxes in there. It's if you can do it in the Roth, if you have enough money in there, yeah, it's a good play.
Yeah.
Don't rub it in.
Sorry, Dave.
Um,
We can
a lot
trade.
of people
We can
are-
trade accounts.
What was that?
We can trade accounts.
you can have my non-existent Roth, sure, no problem.
Yeah, a lot of people don't factor in the tax advantages of the Roth compared to, even if you're doing brokers with margin, like you might do better, but those taxes could really eat up.
A Roth's debatable. Like if you plan on working until you're at least, if you're planning on working for a while, Roth's a great way to go. I don't qualify for one, and even probably, when I first started learning about it, I didn't qualify anyway. And I mean, I don't know how long they've been around, but it's I'm hoping later down the road when I get to a lower income bracket, when I quit, then I can convert and start doing the same thing. But
Yeah.
I'm not wheeling. I have a no assignment strategy. That's what I think both Gerry and I are doing, other than, of course, his Roth, he's doing a wheel. But I think a wheel is a great strategy. It's just, I don't know for me if I would be doing SPACs or post-SPAC stocks, right? I mean, I'm not, if it's working for you, then that's great. It's just, I don't know for me if that's, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be doing it.
That's actually a big issue when it comes to doing that in a Roth on the high IV stocks, because if one of those just go kaput, you're screwed, because there's no tax write-off, there's no tax loss. You can't recover that at all. It's 100% loss. So that could be an issue doing it in a retirement account.
That's a good point.
Or a Roth, I should say.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I'll typically go 8 to 10 positions at any one time. I don't want to be too overloaded in one particular stock.
Do you average down if you're down?
Sometimes it depends. Sometimes I'll roll. Sometimes I just straight wheel it. It really depends. If I like the stock more, I'll typically just get a sign and wheel the other way.
Yeah, right when you get a sign, that's a great time to open a cast or a covered call, right? Like the premium is there, but if it keeps tanking, then it gets really tough to make money on it. But
yeah, like right now with Rocket Mortgage, I'm debating it because I'm about $1 over the current price, and it'll expire Friday. I'll probably just get a sign on it and covered call it.
How do you deal with earnings?
I typically don't, but last week I decided to try Bed Bath & Beyond because the premiums were really high. I started it on Monday last week. I think earnings are Tuesday this week. But the premiums were paying $50.5 for about a $20-something stock. And I just bought to close it Friday for 0.3. It's a pretty quick trade. It wasn't a ton of money, but it seemed like the premium was just too high at that particular time. And I knew IV crush could have happened, but I just got out for a slight gain on it.
So you wait for stuff to have earnings and tank, and then you pick it up.
Sometimes. Yeah.
that's-
I mean, a lot of people will, they sell the puts on the down days or sell the covered calls on the up days. I don't follow that too specifically, but it's something I
It's
look
great
at.
in theory, though.
Yeah.
It is great in theory. It's just you're waiting around too much for it to happen, especially
Right.
if stocks only go up. But I think we all probably can say we take advantage of down days. But do you do any? So you're in a non-margin account, so you can't do naked anything, can you?
No, nothing naked, but with Schwab, you could actually apply for this, was it poor man covered calls and all that? I just haven't done them yet.
Isn't that just level zero?
Yeah, they have a limited margin where I'm not sure exactly how it works, but they actually let you do, I haven't done them at all, but you buy a put at one strike, then you sell it at a different strike to get a slight premium on it.
Well, so Gerry and I have done PMCCs. I've never done one in Schwab. According to Schwab's options levels, level zero should cover it.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't cover it, but I mean, you could technically do it, but you'll be using a lot of your cash available. It's not taking care of the long call is not part of your short position on the other side.
Yeah,
they don't level 2 for that.
Yeah, they don't typically recognize the short call, against the leap.
Right.
So now that you're using Schwab. I use Schwab for my dividend portfolios, by the way. And I had been doing cover calls in there, but it was just so much work to use their web platform. And I don't use Street Smart Edge like you do because I'm on Linux and Citrix is too slow. So I guess my question is if you're not doing well, it is a Roth though. If you're not doing dividend stocks in there, have you ever thought about switching brokers?
I actually switched from Vanguard. I actually had Vanguard in January, and everything besides their option platform is great, but their option platform's horrible. They're charging $1 per contract. The UI was just awful. You have to go to 5 other websites to get anything done. So the main reason is
hopefully you'll be able to use TOS soon.
Yeah, right? I have a Thinkorswim account as well.
But they're supposed to be, they're going to be sucking that in. So hopefully your TOS should work with our Schwab accounts eventually.
Right. I just opened the TOS. I was doing the paper trading account, but you have to keep logging in every 30 days to get a new one. So I just opened a Brokerage for $50 just to use a scanner pretty much. I'm just letting it sit there for now.
It'll be nice once they integrate it though, where we can just, that actually, I might be going back to doing covered calls in some positions. It's just the web is just, in the phone is even worse. Yeah.
Schwab, you cannot get on the phone with them for anything because they initially gave me level 0. I was trying to get level 2 to do poor man cover call, be waiting on the phone for over an hour, and they wouldn't even answer me. So I never really tried.
In a retirement account, they won't give you, supposedly they won't give you anything over level 0.
I know some people that got level 2 off Schwab. You just have to call. They give you an interview.
Like Gerry's story here.
Yeah, I got level 2 in Fidelity, and that was a pain in the butt to actually get approved. You really have to push them. They won't just give it to you. You kind of have to get a little nasty, to be honest with you. But
what I like a lot about Street Smart Edge is you could do walk limit orders where it'll attempt to get a better fill price. I'm not sure if it necessarily works every time, but let's say the bid is at 30 and the ask is at 40. You could set up a walk limit where you start at 40 and then it'll attempt to place the bid at 40. If it doesn't get it, you can go down 1, 39, down 1 to 30.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. And
Gerry and I do that manually.
Yeah, we do that every time. And that's, it would be nice if it was automated.
You set up exactly where your starting price is, where your ending price is. A lot of times I'll start slightly over the ask and maybe I get
over the ask. Wow.
I almost never get it, but you might as well try. It actually changes. You could set it whatever way you want. I'll change it.
He's the one screwing with all the prices on us, Gerry. Mm-hmm. Especially we don't trade those stocks.
You can go down 1 penny at a time in every 5 seconds or so. So I usually start slightly over the ask, and then I'll go to the midpoint. And sometimes I get it over the midpoint, so I'll be happy with that.
I don't know if IB has anything like that. There's so many other things. Like I've been using IB for so darn long, and I probably only explored like 15% of the damn platform because there's so much shit to explore. But there's stuff like that too. I'm sure it's just like adaptive algos and stuff. But I've never really. You literally need a Rosetta Stone for IB to figure that shit out, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a pretty cool feature. I like that. That would work for me. Like, how long would it take to go down like 50 cents?
You could set it whatever way you want. You could make it try every second. You could wait it out, have them go every 10 seconds. You set it the way you want it.
Interesting.
It might be good for covered calls if you're going to do covered calls on it.
Yeah, I don't use Street Smart Edge though. That's the problem. They don't want to make a Linux version, so what am I going to do? Toss is a Linux version. IB has a Linux version. I don't know if Fidelity does, but
I would think by the end of the year they're going to integrate Toss to Schwab. It shouldn't take too much more.
that'd be great. I really I've been using Toss for a long time too, and I only opened it because I opened it like years ago just because it was had probability of the money in there, and no other platform had it. Street Smart Edge does have it, but a lot of platforms don't have it. Do you use Delta or use probability of the money? Which one do you use?
I think it's return on risk for TOS. I don't do probability of money. I just look at the deltas.
So you don't use probability of the money in Street Smart Edge at all?
It's probably there, but I haven't seen it.
It's there. You have to add it, but that's interesting. The Delta's close, but it's not. They're not exact, right?
Right.
There's a lot of questions probably in here. I don't know if anybody has a specific question for you, Lance, but
I wouldn't mind just helping out with any general questions that come up.
let me see. I'm way behind, but Gerry's hot. Wait, I got some red on. You got red in your background. See, I'm 35. I just started investing. Sometimes I think I am too old, or I'm too old for this stuff. No, man. I literally had a net worth of 0 at 35 years old. Okay. And here I'm 46 with 1.7. So it's never too late. Okay. Start today, start tomorrow, start right. Like everybody will say that, like it's never too late to start. Be 100 years old and you can start.
Absolutely. I only started at age 42. The negative $40,000 net worth. So it can be done, and things can change in a short amount of time. Yep. I've noticed is what you got to put your hands on it. Once you put your hands on it and you start working it, you'll find ways to make it work. And then, you just get that snowball rolling. I mean, so it's never too late.
Best time to start is yesterday. The second best time is today, right?
I don't know what quote did that come, or who did that come from?
It could be.
It's one of those big freaking Buffett Lynch people. Yeah, probably. But yeah, I mean, you probably have a pension. You and your wife probably have a pension, right?
I have a pension. My wife's going to be a nurse, so we'll do 401ks off that.
Interesting. Do you want to retire early, or you just pretty much,
I'm not really considering that now, but if I work until 65, I'm going to get about 85% pay the rest of my life at that point anyway. So the Roth IRA is one of my main vehicles to grow it because it grows tax-free. I could eventually leave it to my kids tax-free, which is just amazing to me. So
that's interesting. So when did you start investing?
On and off about 7 years ago. Yeah, 33.
Did you go through all the same issues that almost everybody goes through, penny stocks and get rich quick type of junk?
No, I mostly went into index funds right off the bat.
Okay. Yeah. Most people, I mean, even in options, honestly, we run across people, seems like weekly, where the 2% a month is just not fast enough for them. So they start dabbling in some really risky stuff, and before you know it, like they've taken losses on when the market's up the whole week. It's like, how are you taking losses? You know what I mean? Why are you taking losses? Shouldn't be taking. You need to think your strategy, right?
I mean, I'm happy with a 4 or 5% gain over SPY in the long run if I could pull that off.
Yeah, no, I think that's doable though, because if you think about it, the SPY goes up 20%, that just means we're taking profits earlier, right? Because the market, you know what I mean? So it's almost a given, right?
Yeah, I need to start hitting, base hits and forget the home runs and grand slams. You just need some singles here and there.
Well, I mean, shit, you can get walks. You can get hit by the ball too. That's fine.
You get walks. Yeah, you get walks. An occasional home run. It's just
grand slam every so often.
The game's not all home runs. So
no hitters. Let's see here.
San Diego had their first no-hitter ever, right? A few days ago.
If anybody has any specific questions for investing teacher Lance here, let us know. I mean, I'll try to get to those too, but we'll try to field some questions here if there is any as well. It's touch to make any money now. Yeah, I agree. Like I've noticed it. You know what I mean? Like with the VIX dropping, it's been tough for sure. So I have to change up the strategy a little bit. And that just means get a little bit more aggressive on the strikes from Dave Safe. But has it really affected you at all, Lance?
I'm noticing slightly less premiums in the last month than January. Yeah, the VIX has decreased. I think it's slightly below the long-term average. I think it just hit under there. But it depends. If it's a high implied volatility position, you can still find good premiums. Just might have to go a little higher in the deltas or closer strikes than what you might be normally comfortable with.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't searched for IV in a long time. It's been a while since I've done that scan where, because BABA is kind of high IV, so we're doing some BABA, but even Tesla's kind of low IV now, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually taken that. I've taken that off my screener.
Which one?
IV.
Oh,
IV. IV rank. I've taken that totally off. I don't want to see it.
I leave it on. I don't know. Schwab will let you trade options with unsettled cash. That's their margin, and with Roth.
Yeah, Fidelity does the same.
That's interesting. They won't let you use margin, but they're just letting you use unsettled cash.
Right.
Okay. So you don't have to deal with
a lot of times when I make trades on Schwab, it'll say cash available 0. When I knew in my head I still have a few $100s. And that might just be partly based on that, but the next day the few hundred will be available. So I'm not really sure if that's part of it.
Like Fidelity, my Palantir shares just got called away on Friday. Monday, the count already says that I have all my cash available to trade. You can't withdraw it, but you can trade it.
Is it just to get away from the PDT issue or what? I mean,
might be.
Wait 2 days for it to settle. There's no, because I don't know if I've ever run into that with an option before where you're using, I don't know. It's totally different, I guess. Talking about trading at this point, but I don't know if, CSPs, still require capital or whatever to be set. Unsettled cash, which is a free ride, and it's like whatever.
Yeah, I've done trades where I don't do them much, but penny type stocks where I receive, say, $100 in premium from a previous position, and I'll try to use that 100 that same day on like a penny stock option, and it sometimes lets me do it, at least through Schwab.
Do you have any favorite tickers? Like, what's your top favorite ticker?
Number one, oh boy. I'm big on Palantir too. That's probably one of my biggest positions.
What's everybody in the Palantir? Shout out to Matt.
I've had them since November.
Do you know anything about the company?
I know a little bit about it. I know that my cost basis is probably in the low teens at this point. So I don't mind it. The last month's been a little hard because I actually bought pretty big when it was around 28, 29. But I was doing just cash secured puts pretty far out of the money, November, December, and never hit at all. And I was just collecting those premiums for it.
Yeah, until I get in it. I'll let you guys know when I get in it.
Yeah. For my wheeling, Riot and Mara usually pop up. I mean, the premiums are good to me. And some of those electric IVs, Neo, CCIV, XPV, things like that.
I looked at Riot and Mara, and I'm just like, there's no premium out there. Not where I want to be, but
yeah,
I was like, well, how do these? like, how do these people make money in this thing? Like, well, not where I'm at.
On April 7th this week, I sold a April 30th Mara. Stock was at 47.70. I sold it all the way down to 31 for $67 premium. And I literally bought it back for $48 in a few hours. Again, not a ton of money, but just a quick trade in and out.
Depending on how long I was in Mara, I'd probably want to be at the 30 strike.
Yeah.
And, honestly, 10 days out, there's probably nothing there. But, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, there's something out there. But that's where I'd want to be. Everybody that's watching this, Mara 30, that's where I'd want to be. That's how safe I want to get. All right, look at all that support down there at 30. But Thumper, Vanguard options interface was horrible. Didn't know how bad it was until I moved out. Yeah, well, so Vanguard is so old school. And honestly, Fidelity's come a ways, but Fidelity and Vanguard were really meant for freaking 401ks and shit. You know what I mean? Stuff kind of where it just goes in there and you don't even really know the money's even coming out of your check. It just shows up. That's really what Vanguard and Fidelity were really for. But
yeah, Vanguard's website's horrible. I just feel that every time I go on there, I feel like I'm like in the 1990s or something.
Yeah.
Well, it probably is from the 90s. It's probably from the 80s, 70s or something.
I think they just changed their options to $1 a trade like a year ago. They were charging
From what, 30?
Yeah.
Anybody having issues in retirement acts with them taking 2 to 3 days to settle an option to transaction. Then they try to open a new CSP and getting nasty messages about account not authorized for me. Yeah. It's probably, I don't know, because I don't have a retirement account, so I can't, I would normally say that it's because the funds aren't settled, but in the margin account, you have to deal with that. So you guys both have retirement accounts, so maybe you can talk about this.
Well, I'll be able to talk about it on Monday and see if I can sell a put with that'll be my first put in there, but it says the cash is available. So to trade. Now, that's in Fidelity, level 2 approved. I don't know what it's like in, whatever broker that he's in. So it could be from broker to broker, depending upon
He's in Maryland, if I'm not mistaken,
what they require.
So I don't know that.
Yeah, it really depends on the brokerage, I think, because I'm hearing some stories like that from others.
Well, don't options. So I don't know how long the options take to actually settle. Typically, a stock would take about 3 days, 2 to 3 days to settle. So I mean, options are cleared through a different thing. It's a totally different like exchange and all that stuff. So I don't know. I've never had to deal with that ever. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that, but get a real broker.
It hasn't been an issue with Schwab with me yet, so it could be the brokerage.
Could be. Yeah, I don't know. He's using Merrill Edge or something like that. I'm familiar with it, but I'm not. Like, I know people that use it. I think independent investor uses it, but I'm not sure how mainstream they are. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I have been approved for level 3 at Schwab and have plenty of buying power. No issues. I will get access to toss in. So just to let people know, options levels on Schwab are a little bit different than what they are on Fidelity. Schwab starts at level 0. I think Fidelity starts at level 1. So there's like 5 levels or something like that at Schwab versus I think Fidelity, there's less than that, right? But they're not exactly, if like a level 0 in Schwab is not the same thing in Fidelity. I think it's level 1 in Fidelity, but
yeah. So I'm looking at my Fidelity account. It says cash available to trade. It's all of it, but they have some of the cash is in my SPACs account, which is your core cash holding, and then the other one says cash credit. So apparently they're just letting you trade with unsettled cash.
that's interesting because they wouldn't let you do that with a non-margin account. I mean, if you did, it's a free ride. If you sold it, you're going to be restricted for 90 days. I don't know if options follow that same I wonder how come they can get away with that with options. It's interesting.
I've seen my available cash balance go up immediately once I sold a cash secured put based on the premiums that I collected. But then it seems like after, if I do a couple of those in the same day, it'll eventually say cash available 0, even though I know a few hundred might be in there.
Proof for level 3. So Richard, is that a retirement account? Probably not, is my guess. And do you know when we're supposed to get access to TOS for Schwab? Comment below. Comment in the comment section. Because I am a Schwab user, not for my trading, but holy cow, there's a boatload of freaking. We're way behind.
Looks like Schwab last announced in August last year that they will eventually merge, but they didn't say when.
Vanguard is a pits all around. Yeah, they're just honestly, I wish I had Vanguard for my retirement account, like my work retirement over Fidelity, but because they have better options. But you know, I spent a long time since I worked for a company that had Vanguard. Schwab is the pits. Honestly, when I've ever called them, I've never had any issues. I prefer never have to call a broker though, because you know, it's just, it sucks. Nobody wants to talk on the phone and go through that stupid, you know, yeah, press 1 if you know, brown-eyed girl or whatever. I don't know. That came from Seinfeld. So you seen that episode?
Yeah.
Okay. You are welcome. Just hanging around. Yeah. Okay. So here's Richard. Schwab allows level 2 in retirement accounts. And I have so that's interesting. They told me on the phone when I got my, it's a CRA. It's a company retirement account because I have a solo 401k. So it's a solo 401k account for my business. And they told me level 0 is all I can get in there. So that's interesting. I have to probably pull a Gerry.
Yeah, with Schwab, I initially opened the position knowing I was going to roll over my Vanguard Roth to Schwab, but I applied for options approval first, and that probably was the mistake I made because they didn't see the at least 25 grand in the account yet. So they gave me level 0, and every time I call them, it was at least an hour. So I never even bothered because I eventually probably will do some poor man cover calls, but right now I'm good with the cash secured put cover call side. And it's true they do go up to level 2 in the retirements.
Okay. I'll have to look to see what level 2 gives you because that's skipping level 1. So it's level 0, 1, and go to 2. So I got to see what that gives you in Schwab.
You can do spreads on level 2, like credit and debit spreads.
That should be PMCCs.
And PMCCs, yeah.
Technically, it should be.
Well, that's interesting because, I mean, there's no free cash in that account right now, but I could see myself doing something like that down the road just to be like Gerry. Join Randy's Discord. A lot of people in there that can help you learn. Aren't you a freaking mod, Thumper? Can you put the link in there that doesn't expire in the chat, Thumper, if you're still in here and you're not going to bed? For instance, I'm willing and position gets called away and money is now in account and I can use it to do CSP, but technically the money is in unsettled status for a couple of days. Like I said, I don't have a retirement account to test that in right now, technically.
I should be testing that tomorrow, so we'll see.
All right, report back on next week on that one, Gerry. Hello, gentlemen. If you could magically change your age to 30 years old tomorrow and keep all your accumulated money and ask us, how would each of you change your investment strategy and portfolio? Oh, that's a man. I'd be rolling in the dough at 30 years old. Damn. Why don't you start that one out, Gerry?
I wouldn't change anything. I'm actually happy where I've settled into, just getting into a core like ETF holding or two and doing these options. It's really, yeah. I think you have to find something that you get interested in. If you're doing stuff like, you know, penny stocks because it makes you feel excited, you probably want to try to figure something else out. You know, like I said, I've always been a horrible buy and hold investor. So this options game kind of scratch that itch of wanting to, roll things and trade and winning. You feel like you're winning all the damn time, right? And so I don't think I'd change a thing.
But he didn't specifically mention whether or not you have all the knowledge you have now, right?
Right. That's what I was wondering too. And are option costs the same, or are they from 10 years ago?
It's like I have a lot of years of experience of investing. And if I had to start from scratch and I had $1.7 million, I might freaking go out and buying Teslas and GTRs and shit. You know, well, I wouldn't be buying a Tesla, but you know what I mean? Like I'd be spending the money. I wouldn't know shit. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
He's saying you just change your age to 30 years old tomorrow.
And I know everything I know
back.
Now. Oh man.
He's not saying going back. He's saying change to 30 years old tomorrow.
All right. Well, Gerry is always finding the nuances in what people say, huh?
I would assume that you have the knowledge that you've obtained.
It's like it's all like, well, you know what? I wish I could go back to high school and get all those girls that freaking hated me back then. You know, that's me. But so what would I do different? I probably honestly would be doing options still because I like it and I enjoy it. But I would probably just be in probably just a bunch of ETFs because if I had 30 years old, you know, I'd probably retire earlier than I'm going to retire now, which would be great. Probably, I don't know. Not a lot would change for me, probably. I guess for you. What about you, Lance? Did you mention
I might wheel a little more than I would have, considering I didn't wheel at all when I was 30 because option costs way too much back then. But
that's true. They did.
I'd still end up doing quite a bit of buy and hold ETFs, just index funds.
Okay. Interesting question, MDB. Are you one of the lucky ones where Schwab is concerned? I am transferring my account to Tastyworks. Yeah, I don't know. We can't help you all good because we don't have Tastyworks. Let's see here. How do you set up a good screener on TOS? Well, that's a good one because I've never done it in TOS. So has anybody done a screener in TOS?
Yeah, I've been doing them recently. There's pretty straightforward. If you go to screener, go to option tools. The ones I do for CFPs, I do a weekly one and a monthly one. And for weekly, I'll do delta. You want to do negative. So I do negative 0.3 to negative 0.1. So they'll show the selling aspect, not the buying part. A few other ones I'll do is return on risk. I do at least 1% in the week for the men.
You filter out market cap, or you don't care?
I don't care about it. If I have your money, I would. But
well, I mean, yeah. So Cloud Ninja is like he's 100 billion and above. Most of the stuff he does now. Yeah, it's kind of funny, but you know what? Now I have used scanners in there, and I believe there's defaults too, right? There's a bunch of default ones in there.
Right.
Well, that's an interesting one. Thanks you for that question, Matthew. Dave Safe. Yeah, I did change the thumbnail to Dave Safe too. Tastyworks has great platform, but no phone access, all email. To me, it looked like, you know, Gerry, Randy's used it, and he said it was just more of like a glorified GUI. You know, if you like GUIs, then that platform's for you. Let's see. Does investing teacher have a no taxable account? If not, need to up the savings rate? Not necessarily. I mean, not if he's not going to retire early, right?
Yeah, I'm not planning on retiring early. If I max out the Roth every year, max out my wife's Roth.
He's got a pension, people.
Yeah, pension there, you know. And I'm sure one of you will be qualified for Social Security and all that kind of stuff. So
we'll eventually do it. If we max out my wife's 401k as well every year, we could be saving $30,000 a year there. I mean, that's still very good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so interesting how people get to the end of the road, but there's so many different paths to get to the end of the road, right? Or I don't know if that's a good analogy, but like the way I'm going to get there is so much different than many other people that have pensions, or they got like 405 or 403B or whatever, like 457s and all this. Like, what the heck,
Yeah.
Gerry's path. And it's like everybody has different path, but ultimately we all, are striving for the same thing at the end. I mean, a lot of people probably won't, a lot of people just unfortunately won't be able to retire, but we're all pretty investment savvy, especially because all you joined the live stream today. You guys are all investing savvy too. So you guys are all going to be retiring before most people in this country.
My name is actually a pun. I'm a high school science teacher also, and I have a 12th grade homeroom class and trying to go over some basic investing concepts with them. Not these advanced option strategies necessarily.
How do you segue from cutting out frogs freaking tongues to investing?
I was a financial advisor for Ameriprise. They were part of American Express way back 20 years ago. So I already knew a bit about options then. But
how do you segue the class into that, though?
I have a homeroom class for 30 minutes twice a week. Like, it's very wide open. We could do whatever we want in terms of
trying to get that's a very smart thing to do. If you can just try to get these people out of the indoctrination of, being a slave their whole life, right? Like, because there's really not any, like my high school, I mean, nothing. There's nothing like this. You know what I mean? People just don't really learn about finance.
I'm telling my 12th grade students as simple as whatever job you have, take 10% minimum. Obviously, if you can save more, good. Just move your decimal point one place over. Put that in a Roth IRA or Brokerage if it maxes it out. Put it all in the stock market and don't touch it. If they do that from 20 to 60, almost any.
That's a minimum. That's a minimum.
Yes, that's right. But I'll show them the numbers. Like, I'll have them guess how much will it end up being with just a 10% annual return, and they're usually about 500 grand off from what it actually is. I mean, you could easily get 2 million if you start at 20.
Yeah, sooner the better. I mean, I was young. I know. It was not a priority. I didn't care about saving for retirement. I just cared about making my car faster. That's all I cared about.
Yeah.
So
retirement. We'll do that later.
Yeah, all time in the world. When you're 20 years old. I have sold puts on Alibaba with Anarch Brokers. I'm concerned about the 2.5 billion fine that they received. Well, what's your strike, number one? How can I buy these back?
It down below.
Oh, did he?
200 at June 18th.
Holy cow! What the hell is this so long dated for?
Why you go that far out? But then again, $2.5 billion fine. That's a drop in the bucket for
Alibaba. A drop in the bucket for Alibaba. Matter of fact, I'm sure they're probably laughing at that fine.
They're just like, get it out of the petty cash.
Yeah, exactly. That's pocket change. We're walking around money and spending at the carnival.
But that is a long dated put.
That is, especially for Baba. What was the strike, Gerry?
200.
Yeah, holy cow. Yeah. Honestly, I would, probably be at the 210 or something like that, or the 200. But I'd, 2 weeks out, 1 week out. But yeah, why June? You probably got earnings dates, you're passing and all that shit in there too.
But I probably wouldn't worry about it. He wants to get out of it. I don't know if I would. I don't think this little $2.5 billion fine is going to do anything. No, it might for a day, but I don't think it's going to.
I don't think so either. As a matter of fact, it does go down, I'm going to open some on it.
Yeah,
I already have one on actually. Let's see.
I was trying to get down into the 180s.
I got a 205 on it. Expires April 23rd. So it was $108, man. So I think you're gonna be fine. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Well, let us know how it goes next week. Well, I'll be thinking of you if it tanks. But Stacy Works does a great job with FODX. Only probably not 24. Yeah, most of them aren't. Unless they trade futures. Futures they probably do, but puts are at 200. Okay, yeah, okay, June. If you were to sell puts on Alibaba, can you tell us what price? I have a 205 on it right now, but I could see myself, I'd want to be at 210 or below for 2 weeks or less, somewhere around there. I'm just looking at a chart.
Personally,
Baba's a little high for my blood.
I've been looking at it, and I've been looking in the 180 range.
What do you mean by it's too high, Lance? Because
I
to me,
want
it's
to
like,
I want to be properly diversified. To have 8 to 10 positions. If I did it all in Baba, I would have.
okay, so you're talking about stock price. You're talking about buying power.
I meant buying power for that. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Because
If
honestly,
I had-
Baba's a probably really good price right now
Yeah.
to be picking it up. Like it's got a lot of support going all the way back to early 2020, right around the 220 level.
I would go around 200. If
200 would be great.
If I had enough money for it, you could do a cash secured put for May 14th at 200 and make $273 off it.
200 is not a bad level. I'd probably go safer than that too. I'd try to get the 180.
180 is paying $100.
That's right up my
that's up my alley. It's a little long dated, but it's up my alley. That's like where I want to be with that. I've been weary to pull the trigger on that though. I've been looking at it every day last week, dang near.
Yeah, you got to pull
Might
the
be time
trigger.
to do it.
You got to put some shit on, Gerry.
Yep.
Does anybody know if doing trading on a yeah?
Yes, it is.
That is the month. No, it's not for me though. Like there's no
For me,
premium on NIO at all. Zero.
That's interesting. For me, it is.
Not where I want to be, because I want to be in the under 20.
Yeah, well, so let me just pull up this chart on NIO because when I look at it, I'll tell you where I want to be. I would want to be down and below 20 or below. That's where I'd want to be. There's zero premium out there.
Yeah,
Not worth it.
I think there's a lot of premium in my case because I'm going for 4% a month. You could easily do it off NEO with decent strikes, in my opinion. I'm not married to these stocks. I'll just get rid of them. March 30th.
Unless it goes to $10, then what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to happen sometimes. March 30th, I sold a covered call. It was at 37.70. I sold a strike at 39. 2-week expiration for $200.
You remember what happened to NIO in 2019, right?
Yes.
So that's in the back of my mind.
Right.
I've talked about it every week. You're at the liberty to whatever that CCP wants to do, right? So, they tank shit. They manipulate crap all the time over there. Baba's a different ball game. Totally different. $600 billion company versus a little 63, which ain't even worth 63, but oh shit, Gerry, it scrolled on me. I just cloned Dave Trade. Were you in snow then? Have you ever heard of a limit if touched order, aka market if touched? So I think the broker would have to have probably of touch, probably of in the money, and probably of out of the money. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't have that option, right? And there's the only broker that I know that has that is Toss, that has those probably of touch, probably of in the money, probably out of the money. So they could have those orders, but I don't know for a fact. So what broker are you talking about? I'm not aware of any other broker that has really probably of touch, probably out of the money, probably in the money. Usually they just have one. Level 3 is naked puts, etc. for taxable accounts. End of the year 2021. Okay, cool.
I'm looking forward to that when that happens.
Yeah, Toss is a great platform. It came from, Tom Snozoff, Tasty Trades, Tasty Works, and they sold it, and now they had to come out with Tasty Works or Tasty Trades or whatever, and that'll probably get sold. Maybe Fidelity will buy it. What are your favorite and most useful tips and tricks with Interactive Brokers TWS? I don't really have any, honestly. Tricks. You're not using it, huh, Lance?
No.
Tricks and Interactive Brokers. I don't know if I have any tricks.
I'm drawing a blank too.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to recircle. I'll circle back on that one. I'm like a.
Circle back.
Let me circle back on that one. It's an inside joke. Maybe Schwab just hates me. Maybe. Oh, that's Randy Discord. All good. Does that link expire? All good. That's really odd. They are known for their customer service. I agree. I've never had any issues with their customer service. It's very similar to USAA customer service in a way. Not quite as good, but it reminded me of that. So that's pretty damn good. It was hard to get my referral bonus, but that took like 6 months to get. What have been your biggest lessons and eye openers with trading options? Biggest lessons. Oh man, we talked about this several weeks ago. Lance, why don't you talk about the biggest lessons and eye openers?
I look at IV quite a bit, and IVs should be the standard deviation for the year of approximately where the price will go. And those sometimes where it punches you in the face and it completely disagrees with what the probabilities show, those are definitely eye-opening because I got punched in the eye on those.
Well, I mean, so using IV rank, using IV percentage, using 52-week, using 13-week?
IV percentage.
IV percentage, okay.
Usually, yeah.
And what is that, like 13, 52 weeks, or do you even have the option?
I think it's 52 week.
52 week. So that's kind of, I mean, it is what it is because some news could come out and like it doesn't, the IV is like useless, right? Like,
sometimes I think the deltas are meaningless. Like you'll see something pretty close to in the money and it's saying delta 0.3. Like that just doesn't sound right at all.
Well, that's interesting. I've never seen that. What about you, Gerry?
I'd probably say naked calls. When you hear it, when the layperson hears naked call and unlimited risk, they don't really understand what that means until you experience it. And when you experience it, it's like, holy crap. This is like, make it stop. It's like, it's like, a cut that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you can't stop it. So naked calls are probably the biggest eye opener to me. Unlimited risk. I didn't think that was actually. I was like, what does that mean? Until I put one on and it went there.
So it's like an open cut with no platelets.
Yeah.
Let me use that analogy. The science teacher might know what that is, but
I would never do a naked call.
we used to do them a lot. I haven't done them in, we can thank Cloud Ninja for that one. We used to do them a lot. You can throw on strangles too every so often, but it's been a long time since I've done a naked call. I probably would still do it on like an Amazon or something like that because Amazon is not going up to 4,500 in 7 days or whatever, So those are the types of stocks I would do it on. What are my biggest lessons? I don't know because I used to day trade options too, buying premium. I got burned, and but it's just you learn from it and you move on. You create freaking rules and stuff. I don't know the biggest lesson. There's so many lessons. That's the problem. I don't know if there's, I guess sizing your contracts is probably important, but let's see. What have been your biggest mistakes while trading options? Would you never do it again? Geez, why don't you talk about that one, Lance?
I'd like to hear your perspective too, because you've been doing it a lot longer than me.
Well, the problem is I got a lot of lessons from buying options, right? There's not as many from selling premium, but so I mean, I'll think of something while you're talking, maybe.
I don't have a huge sample size, so it's hard to say. I mean, sometimes the delta could be 0.2 and, then get punched in the gut where it theoretically shouldn't have happened that way. I wouldn't necessarily say I wouldn't do it again because it is all a numbers and probability game, I think. But obviously, there's a position when you look in hindsight, I shouldn't have done it, but at the time, it looks adequate or it looks decent enough. If there's a particular position that you don't really want to own the stock, I don't necessarily think that that's a bad idea. Like, I've been wheeling stocks where I barely know anything about them, to be honest, because if it's just a quick trade way out of the money.
That's a little bit more advanced, I'd say. Like, I wouldn't recommend that to people that have never done an option, right? And we pretty much promote that, hey, you never done a cash secure put ever in your life, start with a stock you wouldn't mind owning, right?
Yeah.
It's a more advanced strategy because a lot of the companies that we don't know anything about them either, you know what I mean? We might have heard them through the grapevine, but Gerry, you want to?
Just real quick on that, I guess doing a paper account, especially if you're brand new, could always help. Try different things, see how risky you're willing to take on the paper part, and hopefully.
Well, the problem with the paper account's like playing freaking poker with fake money. You go all in on a pair of deuces. You know what I mean? Like, the great thing about a paper account is it does let you get the mechanics down, but don't let that I won 3 times in a row and I made $1,000. Like, that don't mean shit, because once you put real money out there, things change big time on what the decisions that you make, right?
Yeah, once your money's on the line, it's definitely different. It's definitely different. But I don't know about mistakes. I guess selling naked calls. I guess that could be. I mean, go right back to that. Other mistakes are, buying instead of selling, thinking I was doing the right thing, and I went ahead and sold a couple more because it filled so fast.
I got a great price.
But I mean, that's about it, so.
Hey, Lance, have you done that? Have you put one, you buy to close, but you sold to open instead or something? Or
that did happen once, and then I noticed it pretty quickly, so I just reversed it. It was maybe a $10.
Yeah, but you probably burned a $20 bill.
Yeah. I did buy one AMC call when I was doing the crazy stuff in early February, and noticing the premium just switching each minute, and I was just freaking out about it. So I don't think I'll ever do that again.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you brought that up, because, anybody that's here watching this, stay away from that Wall Street bet stuff. Stay away from that, why is freaking GME going up 4,000% or whatever the hell it went up, right? Why is this going up? I mean, you obviously know that there's something else going on there. It's not that they just sold a bunch of games out of the blue, So you got to find out what's going on, and you could really get ran over. Matt Money lost a boatload of money. PD lost a boatload of money. Over $50,000 each they lost in that stock alone. Those two both lost that, right? There's no reason you need to be doing stuff like that at all. 2% a month? Is that not enough? Is that not fast enough? Right? I don't know how else to. I just don't know how else to ingrain that in people's head. There's no reason to be doing it. Period. The problem here is there's a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of rules that we all add. Right? Oh, selling up days, or selling up days for puts or for calls. Sell puts on down days. All those little rules. You kind of adjust those as you go. Kind of size appropriately. Don't use too much buying power. Probably spread your risk around. Don't go all on tech, even though tech pays a lot, right? But look at the tech wreck. That hurt us all because we're so heavy in tech because there's a lot of premium there. So we kind of just spread that out a little bit. This is a lot of little things right there. So they all add up to they all add up to be one big mistake. I don't really. I just. As far as a big mistake, I mean, probably just YOLOing your whole account on one stock. I mean, I don't know. I don't do that, so I don't know. That's a tough question. Investing was awful when I turned 30, end of 2008. That's a good time to get in right there, though, if you had money. Problem is I had zero money back then, or very little. I was trading, but I wasn't, I didn't have a big account, but that's a great time to be getting in.
I actually started my Roth IRA around 2008, and I knew I didn't have much money then, so I didn't care when the stocks were tumbling. It just didn't phase me.
Well, I got stuck in Google in like September of 2007. That was like the ultimate high of the market. And then it was a long time before I could get out. I'm not a buy and holder either. I've never been a buy and holder. My dividend portfolio is the longest I've ever buy and hold at this point in my life. So, and that's very hard to leave that money in there when I can throw it in my options account.
Yeah.
But I like to have some coma money. No, you didn't miss the party. We're just getting started here. We got Jello shots coming around. Gerry's wife's bringing them around. At what liquid cash amount would each of you retire? Well, I mean, I'd probably retire now, but I'm not yet. So, what about you, Gerry? You still at 0.25?
Yeah, $250,000. I'm done. But honestly, though, that's tough because I'm kind of semi-retired as it is. I kind of work part-time and do YouTube, make money on options, etc., etc. So I don't feel like I'm in the workforce, right? So I feel like I'm semi-retired as it is. I come and go as I please, and I don't have to. I'm not on a schedule except for the stock market. So I think $250,000 for me. If me and my wife are able to go and buy an RV and hit the road, that's what we're going to do. People are going to say, "Oh, you don't have $1 million." Well, I'm still earning money too. I'll still be in the stock market. I'll still be making YouTube videos. So that to me, technically is not retired, but to me, it's retired. You know what I mean?
You don't got to answer to anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So before I get to you, Lance, Gerry, I mean, you have quite a ways to go before. I'm talking not account wise, but like you gave yourself a pretty long time frame to get there.
Yeah.
Right. So you most likely, I'm pretty sure you're gonna have a lot more than $250,000.
Well, yeah, that's it's all going to depend upon my kids, my mother-in-law that lives with us. We can't physically leave until they're on their own or unfortunately passed
2 more
away.
years for your son.
But so honestly, if it were just me and my wife at this point, I'd be gone now. Because there's no reason for me to live in a house and keep doing what I'm doing.
Damn that ball and chain keeping me free.
But yeah, I gave myself until 2030. But I can imagine me and my wife being gone, way before that.
Well, 2030 is interesting because that's like 9 years away, using fuzzy math, of course, but like you're most likely going to be way ahead of your goal. So that'll be interesting. I'll be following you hopefully, and maybe I'll be back in the US by then. So I'm sorry, Lance. Go ahead and if you didn't have a pension, if you didn't have the golden handcuffs, right?
Yes. If I retire at 56, I'll have all the possible pension benefits. Joint survivor, wife gets a certain percent, and all that. If I have a paid off house, paid off cars, and that retirement maybe getting 2/3 of my pay, I think I'll be fine with like $300,000 or $400,000, honestly.
Wow, it's a totally different way to go.
Yeah,
those damn golden handcuffs. I think it's a gift and a curse. The golden handcuffs are, and I'm talking about pensions, people, right? Because there's not many pensions that don't let you retire before 55. Most of them. The exception is you had the military, which you could. I think the military's even changed it now, but in 20 years you could retire technically in the military. But so it's a gift and a curse because if you want to retire before 55, you're stuck, right? So the difference is like I can retire before 55, but I don't have that guaranteed income coming in like a pension. So that's why I say it's a gift and a curse. But Well, hey, thanks for sharing those. Baba just went up 5% in China. Well, it's several hours before the pre-market opens at 2 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So, yeah, I don't know. I just because they got a little fine. You know what? They're probably expecting like a $25 billion fine or something. So that's probably why it's up.
Yeah, the 2.5 billion was probably a favor.
It's a little bee sting. I'm late. Hey, you're just in time, Ryan. Just smash the like button. Hey, thanks for that, Investing Sensei. There's Stock Ninja. I thought he'd be in bed by now. Baba's probably going to go up now. Yeah. So, well, I was kind of hoping it would tank so I can get some freaking puts on it, but whatever. Let's see here. Honestly, looks more like a slap. Yeah, it was. 2.5 billion is nothing. Disclosure, I'm long. Yeah, I'm not long. I just technically I'm long because I have a put, but I'm not long on the stock. Oh shit! Just jumped on me. I have a CSP on Baba strike 220 May 21st, so that's pretty high. I'm at 205. What's 220? Isn't that freaking like not that far below?
Yeah, it's like right there almost.
No, I guess the question is, what did he put it on, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty good support right there at like the 215 level, but it's way too, that would be too risky for me. 180 is a great number. I agree. Depending on, especially where you're going out a month, I think 180 would be perfect.
Yeah.
NIO premium is all around the current share price. Yeah, well, exactly. And that's just not Dave. That's not me. Like I'm not doing at the monies or one strike below. So is that all you're doing? If you're wheeling, is that what you're looking for? Is like, okay.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm doing.
You're going to be more aggressive because or you could, I mean, because you could technically get wheel doing what I'm doing too, but you're not going to get a sign very often, right? So, yeah, I don't know, Gerry. You're wheeling. So, how far are you going out of the money?
On certain stocks, I'll go at the money.
Okay,
but
so
if I'm going to wheel it, it's because I want to own it and I want to trade it. Other than that, I have a, like no assignment policy. Neo, I'd want to be down at $20. I know that people are making money on it. I know that people are, your success in trades, right, and options are good until they're not good. So, yeah. Just like you said, Neo can drop to $10 in a heartbeat. In one day with one set of news, it can drop to $10 or below, and then you're screwed. You're literally screwed. So I know it works because I've traded Neo at $20 and I made some money on it, but I wouldn't want to own it. That's the difference. So Palantir, I wouldn't mind owning it. So I'll sell it really close.
I don't want to own it, but I don't mind owning it.
I don't mind owning it. Neo, I do not want to own it. So I'm going to be down at the 20 strike. So that's the difference. So I understand there's money to be made there, but the risk, you got to weigh that risk personally, right?
Isn't there better choices than Neo though? Same premium?
Right now, Neo's at 38.12. You could sell at 35, expiring this Friday. Make $33 off it, which is 1% for the week.
I'm not saying I don't know. How about 30?
That's not going to pay anything.
Yeah, so that's
30
the problem.
pays $5.
That's the thing. I can make that on AT&T.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind owning AT&T.
AT&T, I wouldn't mind doing 50 contracts. I wouldn't do that on NIO. No, hell no. Right? So if you're going to do NIO, make sure you just do one or two contracts.
For AT&T, you got to go at the money at 30 for $25.
Yeah, I don't mind that. See, that's the thing. That's the contrast, right?
Are they
Yeah.
paying a
I
dividend?
own it.
Soon? I don't know if they're.
No, they just paid it. They already went ex-dividend.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they paid it yet, but it went ex-dividend.
Yeah, they pay in May 3rd, I think.
So yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's a good. Honestly, AT&T is a great one to wheel. It has a range too, and really, it doesn't really move much out of that range. It's a good PMCC candidate too.
Yeah.
Freaking Matt, let's see, up at Eastern market. I don't know what you mean by Eastern markets. Not Eastern time, but assuming you're talking about like over in Europe. Europe's not open yet either, I don't think. What are you talking about? You talking about Southeast Asia or China or whatever? See, why are you opposed to long dated puts if they are way out of the money? Going further out. So the problem that I have with that is you're just, a lot of shit can happen that amount of time, number one. So it depends on the position, right? Like a Tesla. Would you want to go out 6 months in a Tesla? Right? That thing can freaking move a major amount of money or a major amount of fluctuation, 100, 200 points in a week. Why would you want to go out 6 months and be stuck in it for 6 months? You know what I mean? What if it goes down below your strike, right? Like, let's say $50 below your strike. What are you going to do then? You're going to wait for 5 months for it to get assigned? You're going to buy it back right away and take your loss? You're going to wait 6 months for it to come back? What are you going to do, right? In my opinion, you're just tying up that money. Why tie it up for so long? I mean, Lance, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, if it's really long dated, if it's a stock you really like, maybe go covered call, really long dated. So at least you might get some upside there. And I was considering doing that with Realty Income for
covered call is almost the same issue, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was considering it in Realty. It wasn't going to pay enough. I could have went out to around December at a little bit higher than current price. It wasn't worth it to me.
It will decay. Gerry, I'm going to have you talked about this one too, but my strategy is to buy back and let decay do its job. The thing is what if it drops below your strike then? So you're just going to sit on it for 5 months, hope it comes back, right? Yeah, it might be decaying, but you're below your cost basis, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to just sit on it for 5 months where it's just using up money that's you can't use, right? Yeah. That's the issue there. I think it's okay on some stocks. AT&T might be okay if you're like below, like, kind of like the 52-week low or something like that. That'd probably decay off, right? But the Tesla, heck no. Gerry, I mean, you got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, same thing. If I'm going to do a long dated put, honestly, the ones that I have done have been on ETFs. And it's because the reason is, I think you said it perfectly, is there's a lot of things that can happen. And especially in an individual position. In individual positions, you got news. You got this $2.5 billion fine on Alibaba.
Johnson & Johnson news.
What if in May, you said it expires June 18th. What if in May they go, oh, you know what? Screw you. Here's $100 billion fine. And then, it just freaking destroys the company. China can do that. And so you got earnings.
The stock tanks. The price goes way up on your put, right? Or it goes up, right? You can't get out of it. You're stuck. You have to either average down or something, right? Like you're stuck, right?
You're stuck. You're either going to have to buy it back and eat a huge freaking loss, or you're going to have to wait till June to get assigned at this high price and end up with a 50% down position right off the bat that you can't get out of because you can't sell covered calls against that to do it. So
yeah, you have to average down. But I just don't see buyback the decay. Yeah, I had a point I was going to make, but I lost train of thought. But there's just no reason to do it. I forgot. TQQQ might be it might be an exception for me, right? Because I'm literally I'm selling TQQ puts down at like 35 out to June. Okay. That's a different boat. That's an exception because that would take the market dropping like 30% in order for me to get assigned. Right. I actually want to be assigned. So,
and that's a total market. That's not an individual news company, news stock, individual stock. You that's the complete market having to do that for you to get challenged on that put.
And honestly, every time I do have the Qs, when the Qs do drop, I do stick on a bunch of TQQQs, 35s. I'll put some Mays. I'll put some going out to June, and maybe even starting out after that now. And then when the market goes up, I just buy them back, right? But honestly, yeah, I would have no problem with taking TQQQ and even going out to September or something on those, because ideally, like, I would be buying TQQQ anyway if we drop 30%.
Yeah,
so,
I had $15, $20 strikes on that thing. Made money on them.
Did you do leaps?
No, I haven't done leaps.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, did we already talk? Did I already have you talk about this one, Lance?
For way out of the money, yeah. I don't touch them necessarily. I was looking at some of these penny stocks that the bid-ask spreads are nonsense. You're going from 120 to like 400. And if you could somehow get like in the midpoint on that, the returns could be really good, but the open interest is almost one hand worth like 3. So you're not going to get those. I've never bothered with it.
I would almost say that it's probably going to act very similar to what a PMCC long-dated leap would be.
Yeah.
Because you can really get screwed on those leaps. Even at mid-price, you can still screw yourself out of a couple $100 easy.
Yeah.
It's happened to me many a times. Every time I've tried to close a leap, it's like, I don't know. I'm like, how come I lost $200? What the fuck's going on here? Let's see. Richard, I have an NAO trade on it. Let's see. What's SP?
Strike price.
Oh, strike price. Jesus. 32. The stock has not touched 32 in 2021. Made over $118. You see 32. Oh, that's better than what Lance said at 39 or whatever it was. But
I sold mine at 30 for end of the month.
34. Yeah, I mean, 32 it's getting better, but I mean, Gerry basically just said it. Like, any news could come out of China and take this thing to $10, like that. And to me, I don't want that risk.
That's understandable, but I do some trades similar to what Richard just said. I'm not going to put my whole account on it, but if it's a small percent of the total, I don't mind it.
Well,
it's got long-term support at $3.
Yeah, it does. The thing that this is a whole different thing, but I don't like stuff sitting in my account for a long time looking red for like months on end. Like things, because they kind of like just poke at you every day. Like, hey, this is a reminder you screwed up. That's kind of just a mental thing I don't really like.
Like my art.
Yeah. So imagine it dropping to, $10 and you have a strike at 20. It's like, oh, it's going to stare at you every freaking day, until it comes back up. And you're going to like, probably join conference calls, hoping, okay, let's see, I'm like going to be up at 4 a.m. joining a conference call for freaking NIO over in China, hoping it's going to recover or whatever. Yeah. And then you're going to average down and maybe it'll freaking tank on you even more. And then you can just down double, right? That's happened to me in Win. But so just, I don't know. I think everybody's going to be a little bit different there. We're not telling you don't do it. I'm just telling you why I don't do it, right? IBKR, TWS favorite feature is open interest per strike, per expiration. Great for finding support and resistance. Every freaking broker should have that. Open interest per strike, every broker should have that. If I'm not mistaken. Of course, I'm always mistaken, but I don't know.
I think everyone does that.
Yeah, they all should have open interest. You might have to add it, but do you submit limit orders on options when you? No, yeah, it's always limit order. When the market's no, I don't do anything. So if you're doing a limit order like after the market's closed and you're like for the next day, you'd have to do a good till canceled on it. So you'd have to set that option. Otherwise, it'll just not take the order. So if you're trying to like, set your orders up for the next day or something like that. Honestly, I wouldn't do it that way, but because, by the time the market opens, it could be way over. Like you might be you're screwing yourself out a bunch of money, right? You could have sold it for like 50 cents higher than you had the limit order set for. So why would you do that? Run us through the mechanics of how to sell a put. I have videos out there talking like where I went through actually putting a trade on. If I don't, let me know. I'll make one. But you both do limit orders, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Schwab,
definitely.
when you set up a limit order after hours, you'll get it'll be a daily order on that.
They won't fill after orders because markets
Right.
literally only open from 9:30 to 4 o'clock Eastern time for options. It's not, there's no aftermarket or pre-market on options, but you probably already knew that. But in case somebody else watches it doesn't know that, yeah, we're always doing limit orders because if you're using a market order, you're screwing yourself out of money. Every freaking penny is a buck. And Schwab's kind of a piece of shit sometimes because they only let you in 5-cent increments.
Some stocks are like that.
Yeah. Well, Schwab's a little bit more of a pain about it, but
Yeah.
would you ever submit a limit order at a price you would like but currently not available? No, I don't do that. I probably would do it with common equities, but I wouldn't do it with options.
Yeah, you can get a price spike or something, or a price crash, and your order triggers and you're down.
The issue there is that with a stock price, like, okay, I want to buy this at $10. You don't know what the option is going to be worth at $10. That's the problem.
Right.
That's the reason why we don't do it. You can guess. Any tricks or strategies to streamlining your option sales? Gerry, you got this one?
Streamlining? No, not really. Set up your watch list on stocks that you wanted to do. I set mine up in Interactive Brokers, and I have it broken down by sector. So it's not just a one big long freaking string of stocks. It's by sector. And Dave gave me the good tip reminded me about FinViz heat map. So I'll go over there and look at the heat map real quick, see what is down for the day, and then I can just go back into my TWS and look through the sector that I've set up on the stocks that I like, and then see if there's anything available. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of tricks or streamlining.
The great thing about the heat map on TWS, you got me saying it. The great thing about the heat map on FinViz is it's SP 500 stock, so it cuts out a bunch of bullshit, right, automatically for you. So, what about you on this one, Lance?
Sorry, I got my other thing on. Streamlining option sales. I have a big watch list. It's like 30 companies. If I happen to have cash available, then I'll just possibly do, down day, go for the cash group put side. There's nothing much else to that in terms of.
Do you ever forget that you have one ticker on already, and then you put the same ticker on?
I think I did, yeah.
I did that the other day on like a major stock too. Like, oh shit, I don't have an Amazon on or whatever. And I put another one on or something.
How did I end up with 3 of these?
Yeah, it was a screw up. I had to take it off because it was like too much buying power. Let's see, who's it going, or how? I guess it's how's it going, but who's it going, guys? Let's see. I just seen the guy's YouTube the other day and thought he'd be good to bring over to the live stream.
That's me, I guess.
I don't know. Gage has been here the last.
I think he's talking about Lance.
All right, gotcha. Appreciate it.
Well, I mean, I've been talking to Lance for quite a while. So.
Yeah.
Well, anyways.
The last time I was trying to get on, I didn't have electricity or water in the Texas craziness of snow and winter.
Well, glad you could join today.
It's been fun.
How do you find the near term? Is that what that is? Near term?
The term of like way
It's
out.
a joke.
Yeah,
Just kidding, guys. So, I mean, I know what a Fibonacci is. Come on here. But I don't know what you're talking about. Good vibes. Elbow cough. What's an elbow cough? Oh, gotcha. I thought it was like a joke elbow cough, but that's a COVID cough. I still be watching GW. Looking forward to those traveling bids. Absolutely, man. We're gonna be boondocking somewhere, many a places. We'll do the annual
Yep.
meetup, and most likely you'll probably be following me around the whole U.S. in your freaking RV.
We need Starlink though.
Yeah, Matt thinks that Starlink's going to tank AT&T and Verizon. I don't agree with that because there's a lot of things that AT&T makes money off. It's not just internet, right? So I don't know if you're still here, Matt, or not, but shout out to you for that selling out of T and Verizon. Let's see here. How's it going, guys? Just seeing the guys YouTube. Yeah, I think I already talked about that one. Yeah, I'll put his link in the chat again before we close it out. No, not in here yet. I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, he's not in bed.
Oh,
Not in bed yet. I'll hop in right when you guys mention. Yeah. So Roku is a name I came up for Stock Ninja. It's like a verb. He got Roku'd. He really had way too many contracts on, naked calls. And the
naked
thing
call.
just went up 5% every single Sunday. He said it went up over the Sundays, got upgraded and crap, and he lost a boatload of money. So really, it humbled him and made him make some new rules, and we stole those rules and learned from them. But anyways, glad to have you here, Stock Ninja. Let's see. Please share some examples of all-time best option sales. Do you have any particular memo? I really don't, honestly. Yeah, I really don't, because I don't YOLO. I used to YOLO with stocks. I put $200,000 in one stock, and it would, spike up 8% overnight. And I'm like, oh my god, it's like,
Yeah.
But I've never really done it with options. So yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I look at my trade list for the week, and it's boring as hell. Make $20 here, $30 there, 50 there, 25 there. But you do that 20, 30 times in a week, and it all adds up to something good. So there's nothing that I can. It's not exciting. It's not like that for me anyway. It's just. But it is. But it's not exciting and like, ooh, I just made freaking $500 right there. Bam. It's not like that. It's the 20s and the 30s and the 40s that just accumulate over time. So
They all add up.
Yeah, they all add up.
I agree. Same thing.
Lance, let's not call it day trade, but do you specifically target a stock that's down that day and kind of near the bottom of the day or something like that, or the what's the low of the day, LOD,
Yeah.
and then if it comes up, 30% or something like that, will you actually buy it back that day or what?
That was probably going to be my answer to the questions. With Mara, that happened a few times in February, where it was down 8-9%, having to sell the cascade put, still pretty far out of the money from that current price, and it just shot right up like immediately after. There were some trades I made 1.5% or so in a few hours. So again, it's 1.5% out of all the many positions I have. We're maybe talking $60, $70 in a few hours, but I mean, those are
something I'm trying to do a little bit more. It's something I'm trying to do more because the great thing is if it doesn't go back up, it's fine. You still got to put down there, right? Like it's not going to be tested, but it's something I've been trying to do a little bit more lately anyway. Try to maximize profits. Time decay slows down. Yeah, it does. Delta's lower. In theta and vega and gamma and all that shit. They're all kind of like linked together. Let's see here. My issue with some options is that it kind of feels like you're garage selling. Yeah. Man, you can get some good shit at freaking garage sales. Unless the contract sizes are larger, I don't like managing $20 here, $30 here. I don't really stick on a lot of, and if they are 25 and 30, I usually put like 3 or 4 of them on because they're usually just smaller stocks usually. But
yeah, I agree with that. With some people that I talked to, they don't want to bother with the 20-30. But over long periods of time, many trades, it definitely adds up.
I see the point, though. I mean, it can get cumbersome, right? So it's a lot of work. Like you can go to ETFs and you can get, I wouldn't call them safer. You get a little bit more aggressive on those, but make $100 or something, and it's just, I don't know, if you want to do less work, 30-day DTEs, and it's like normally if it's $20 or $30, I usually put, if it was like 20, I'd probably put 6 on. If it was 30, I'd probably put 3 on. Get to the $100.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I rarely sell anything over $1. So I mean, it's more rare that I sell anything over $1 than not. So most of the stuff, you're getting 30 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents, put on 2-3 contracts, and that is what it is. But it's all about making money.
What the hell did you put on? You put on a IWM. You got $1, didn't you?
Yeah, IWM, I got $1. I think Okta, I got $1.
KR, we got 25 cents. I put 4 of those on, so that's a good example right there.
Yeah, I think T. I got some good premium on T once and put on like 4 or 5 of those. I've been trying to put on 3 or 4 Rocket ones, Rocket Mortgage, but they just won't fill. Damn things, they won't give me a damn penny. But I'm trying to go down. I'm trying to be down in the $17 range, and you get 26, 27 cents around there. Put 4 of those on, it's $100.
Yeah.
You trade Rocket, right, Lance?
Yeah, I had 3 positions on it. I currently have 1. I have 2 left. I just bought to close the other one for about 70% profit.
$20 is where I'd want to be on Rocket, by the way.
Yeah, I sold
lower.
I sold my customer put at 21.
21, I could probably. Yeah, I don't know. 20 or lower.
I was trying to be down at 17, 30 days out. So.
Yeah, 17. Let's see. I think 18 would be acceptable.
Yeah.
Maybe get your penny. Do you have any minimum sales? No, I kind of do. I always try to shoot for $100, but that's kind of hard to get on some of the stocks we're doing. So if 50 cents honestly is probably my ideal target at minimum. And then occasionally I'll go to stocks that have the 20 or 30 cents, and I'll just triple or quadruple them up. But is there anything you're looking for a percentage though, right, Lance?
I want to get the 1% a week, 4% a month. In terms of strike prices, I've sold some that are $5 strikes at times. Like CBAT Energy at one point was $5.70 on a Thursday, and I was selling the cashier put at 5 for Friday. It was paying me 5 cents. I was like, the odds of it going down 70 cents in a day were insanely low, so I really loaded up on that.
That's an interest. 5 cents.
Yeah, but it's 1% in 2 days. So I got like 25.
Not bad. Can you imagine doing like 1,000 contracts?
Yeah, you can't fill that many of it.
That's interesting. Did you answer this one, Gerry?
Yep, I think so. Didn't I?
Okay. Looking at doing a 29 CSP unplug, expiring Friday for. Is that plug power?
Yeah. Micro cap. No, it's a medium cap. Wow, dang. That's crazy.
It doesn't really mean it's a medium cap.
Yeah. It's kind of the same. It looks, the chart looks almost exactly like NEO. Also has support down at the $4 range.
You're right. It does look very similar. It's not Chinese, though.
No.
Is it post-SPAC? Weren't they a SPAC?
I don't think they were a SPAC.
No.
I don't believe so. They just got caught up in the EV craze.
For me, that would be a trade that I would possibly do because it's paying 32, a little over %. Delta's 0.15.
So the problem is the question where you like 20 is where I'm looking at. I'd be below 20. So he's got a 29. Wait, so a 29 only gave you 32 cents?
No, that's what he's looking to do.
That's for the week. So you're getting 1% for the week.
For
Because you're
this
getting
Friday.
$32 out of the 29.
For this Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Problem is you got the 2 days of decay that just probably not calculated in there.
Yeah. You might get about 25, 27 and open tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess 29 is probably a little more aggressive than I want to be, but it's right at the 200 period moving average. At least it's got something there.
Those are type of trades that I do all the time. Low deltas. I'll do that with 10 positions. Not
It's
all
just
in
the
one.
company though, right? Like they don't make any money. And it could be
Yeah.
a long time before they make any money.
Yeah.
The other thing is it's not that this is a big deal, but it's 10% short float. That's actually a good thing if you're doing call or doing puts, I suppose. But it's also just to let you know that it's a Wall Street bet target in a way. Let me see. It's a low float too. So yeah, it's a Wall Street bet target. Probably won't hit, but I mean, would I do that 29? Probably not. I don't know. Maybe I would. Who knows?
I think I might on Monday.
You're gonna at 25 cents?
Yeah, it's 1%.
Okay, well, that's why we got you on here, so we can learn some new shit, different strategies that people do, Do you guys own Mara stock? Own the actual common equity? Mara negative put premiums are insane. They weren't when I looked at them. They were junk. I literally looked last week. Okay, Riot, Mara. I'm like, there's nothing out there. Let me tell you where I'd want to be in Mara. That's the problem, I think.
Yeah.
I look at Mara. $30
for me.
$30, and that's probably still. I probably wouldn't sleep at night at $30.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. I would like to be down in the $15 to $20 range. So that's where these just
honestly,
don't do it.
If I was going to be like, okay, this is where I wouldn't mind. Like, yeah, you're right. It would be down at the $15 range. But I'm looking here. Okay, it's got support at 30. Like, is that acceptable? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. You trade that one? You trade that one, right, Lance?
Mara and Riot are probably my two best positions for the year so far. I'll do, like, for right now, Mara's at 49. You could sell the weak one for 40, say 2. It's paying $78. That's almost 2%.
The reason why the premium is so juicy on it for you guys, because you're being aggressive on it, that thing's up over 10,000% in a year. 10,000, whatever, 1,000%.
It is ridiculous. It's like a big mountain that you see in the stock price.
That's the reason why it's so risky.
Yeah.
Even down at $30 for me, right? No, so year to date, it's up 369%. So that's the reason why I wouldn't probably touch it, or I want to be down at the $15.
Yeah, that's understandable.
If you're going to go into something like that, don't go in heavy, please.
Right.
Damn you, EMDB. Let's see here. Are you opposed way out of the money, long-dated puts on major companies like Apple? Yeah, I am. 30 days is 30 to 45 days probably. That's probably my wheelhouse.
Yeah, 90 days, you're bumping up on earnings, so
Yeah,
I don't play earnings.
But if I was going to do long-dated stuff, I wouldn't mind doing it on an Apple or a Microsoft or something like that. I think it's okay. It's just not a strategy I want to do. You're tying up a bunch of cash for a long time. It's going to decay somewhat slow. So, especially on a stock like that. While I may be exposing myself to longer duration, I get assigned. Seems safer to me. Thumper says the same thing. He thinks the long dated stuff's safer. I don't see it that way. I see it as less safer. You know what I mean? Like there's more shit that could happen in that amount of time. Market could die 30% in 30 days. It did it freaking in February to March last year. 30 days, literally. 60 days, I was out. It was back up and out of the money. So, I mean, to me, so much can happen in 30 days, let alone 90,
45 is my absolute limit.
45, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
45. How bad can it get? how bad can it be to get a sign Apple with long dated? It's just, you could be waiting around, right? What if the stock dropped 15 days after, right? And you still have, 65, 70 days left on it. And you're just sitting around. Okay, well, I can't do shit now. I'm not going to get a sign for another 60 days. You're just sitting there. I just don't, and they decay so slow too. So, but like I said, if I was going to do long dated stuff like that, I think Apple and Microsoft and those really, good solid stocks aren't a bad option for it. It's just not something I'm going to do. I will buy leaps though. That's different though. We haven't really talked about that. Gerry, do you still add money from work to accounts, or mainly focus on option income? He adds Simmons money to the accounts.
Yeah, this is true. But the answer to that is sometimes. When there's money to be added, if I have money to add, then I will. But work for me is just, it's feast or famine. And it's been more famine since COVID began. So the options thing has really been a good thing for me to get some growth going without having to add some. But I will be adding some this year for sure.
Was that famine or feast, or salmon and feast?
Both works, but it's feast or famine.
I thought it was salmon. Okay. Because that to me is a feast. But I mean, so you just added money to your account too, right, Lance?
I added just regularly for the Roth IRA. 500.
So once a year, $6,000 or something.
Yeah, it's $6,000 for me and my wife.
See, if you knew that your option sales ROI was the same as SP 500, would you still sell options? That's a confusing question. What do you mean by that?
I assume you're making the same amount with your options compared to just holding.
The thing is you don't know what the SP 500 is going to return.
Yeah.
But you know what the options are going to return. So the only thing that matters is you're outperforming the market at the end of the year. Who cares about like entry year or anything like that? But you don't know what the SP 500 is going to return. It could be flat. It could be 20%. It could be 30%. Highly unlikely. But the options, at least you know where you stand at the end of the day, at the end of the month, end of the year.
Yeah.
Of course, I guess let's assume. I guess that's so. The thing is, you know where the S&P 500 is, right? Year to date and all that, but you don't know where it's going to go the rest of the year. With options, you kind of can control that. I guess that's what the point I'm trying to make. You kind of control that, how much return you're going to have by the end of the year, or what your target is, or something like that. You can control that, but you can't control the S&P 500. Just started switching interactive brokers. What commission? Well, that's a good question. I don't have the. You know what? Yeah, shit. I didn't do a video on that. Sorry. I probably should, but
I don't think that. I think that doesn't matter on the option side.
Tiered or fixed? Yeah, I don't think it does either. What it does make a difference on equities, though. What that really means is like you're doing 10,000 shares, or you can do fixed, where it's just a fixed amount for 10,000 shares, $5 or something like that. But if you did tiered, it's going to cost you a lot more than $5 if you had 10,000 shares you're trying. So if you're doing penny stocks, you want fixed. If you're not doing penny stocks, and you're doing like some larger stocks like Apple and Microsoft and stuff like that, you definitely want tiered. But for options, I don't know if it makes a difference.
Yeah,
We
I don't
get
think
paid
so.
sometimes to trade options.
Yeah.
In your experience, have option sales premiums improved or decreased over the years? It depends on how volatile the market's been, where the VIX is. Like just 2 months ago, like I don't know where the VIX was sitting 2 months ago, but the VIX is sitting at 17, 18 right now? It's 16.
It was over 20 for most of January, February.
20 is acceptable. 20 is ideal, honestly. Anything beyond that, we've had some issues. So ideally, we want it to come back up to 20 and kind of sit around. 20 to 25 is probably where I would love it to be. But so, yeah. You see, let's say you want to sell a put on Tesla. Premium bounces all over the place throughout the day. How do you capture the best premium of the day? It's not really something I look at because, in the morning time, sometimes, just, I guess maybe Lance even mentioned it, IV crush, where premium kind of just gets drained out and then it doesn't return the rest of the day, and it never returned. So it is the way things work sometimes. You got any thoughts on this, either of you two?
There's not much that you could do. I mean, sometimes you could set a limit order higher than the ask price and hope that it fills. I would only do a day on that and not get till canceled. But I don't really follow that too much, honestly.
It's really, I mean, stock by stock. You just look at it. If it's trending down, it's probably, you try to look for when it stops freaking trending down, and then you can go and put your fill in there. But it is what it is. I don't know if you can capture the best premium at any point in time.
No, if you can do that, then you know where the stock's going. Then
Yeah.
why not just freaking day trade the thing, right? We're getting near the end, so we'll call it here soon. Let me get through the last questions here. I want to optimize my fills to get the best. Yeah, it's just not something you're going to be able to do, in my opinion. I mean, if you can do that, then you know where the stock's going, right? And then why not just freaking YOLO it, right? I mean, it's not something you can really do.
I mean, the best idea for that one is to start a little bit closer to the ask price, hope you get filled. If not, slowly go down near the mid.
The problem with that, though, is the stock goes up or goes down, it'll blow past your ask, and then you cost yourself a bunch of money, right?
Yeah.
But it's just, it's almost like you're trying to day trade it. And if we all knew where the stock was going, we'd all be freaking sitting on a beach drinking mojitos by now. NIO 200-day moving average 43. Yeah, let me pull that some biatch up again. 40. Let's see, 200 43. No, it's lower than that. I'm looking at FinViz though. It might not be off of a 1-year chart. What time frame are you looking at? Because that matters when it comes to moving averages. Like a daily chart's not going to be the same thing as a hourly or a monthly or anything like that. So, do you think? Yeah. So I figured out this last week when he said that he's talking about Joe Biden, but I didn't figure it out until after. Do you think Joey B will forgive student loans? I hope not. I think it's a stupid thing to do. All those people that were responsible and sacrificed to go to school, didn't buy their GTRs and all that junk to go to school, they're responsible, work 2 jobs or whatever, to pay their student loans off. They deserve, they're getting screwed. They're going to be paying for that. Not the government, that's tax money. So I think it's a stupid thing to do. Jesus.
I don't see it passing, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, they only talk about the federal portions, not the. They're subsidized and unsubsidized, right? So I think they only talk about.
At best, they might cancel some of it. I don't see a lot of it.
Well, I don't even think it should be any of it. That you took that debt on. You decided to go to school. Nobody forced you with a gun to go to school. Why should you tag all that debt onto the taxpayer? That's me. You know what I mean? I haven't had a tax break. I haven't had a stimulus check. I have nothing. I've got no benefit at all. And then I'm gonna, you're gonna tag that onto me? I mean, you know what I mean? I went to school. I worked nights, I worked 40-hour days beyond that actually, and then went to school full time at night to pay my. You know what I mean? Like, I had student debt all the way until 2017 when I finally paid it off. Anyways, I know that people in here, if you have student debt, it would be great to get it just something for free and have it paid off, right? Like, it feels good. But at some point in your life, you're going to realize that, you're going to be in a situation like mine where it's just like you're going to be paying for all that people that made a mistake or didn't want to. What about those people that sacrificed? I don't know. I'm not going to go into freaking detail on that, but Apple's expected to do dividend raise this. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it's another like 13% or something. Do you stick to individual stocks, or do you play your? Yeah, we do ARCs. We do ETFs. Yeah, we do. We do all the above. Like
Yeah.
Gerry would probably say yes. That's what Gerry.
Yes.
Yes.
Sector ETFs. Yeah. Triple leverage ETFs. Standard market ETFs.
Beyond TNA, do you do any other ETFs, Lance?
I've done XLE, XLF at times because I wanted the sector. It didn't seem like it paid a lot, but they weren't bad trades.
Yeah, they don't pay very much.
Right.
Well, I can
they're
pretty much blame Gerry for getting me into a piece of shit XOP.
It'll come back.
I know. It'll all come back. Let's see. I always enjoy these Sunday night streams. I really enjoy the friendly banter between Dave and Gerry. However, tonight I realize Lance has been missing. I hope we all see three of you again very soon. Yeah, welcome back anybody that ever comes on, unless you really piss me off. But anybody that ever comes on, you're always welcome back. Just reach out to me and let me know. Hey, thanks for that, MDB. I know I just give you trouble or I bust your balls for all the questions, but it's fine. Please excuse me. Yeah. There you go right there. He's already got a list. Let's see here. Great job, guys. Lance was awesome. Enjoyed his input. Make sure you go subscribe to Lance and Gerry if you're not already a subscriber to their channels. Lance does options videos. So does Gerry. Gerry's he's got a hodgepodge of content just like I do as well. Lance, you're pretty much just doing all option stuff now. Is that it?
Yeah, pretty much. Just that's what I'm focused on. So that's why I'm doing videos on it and getting a pretty good following of other option traders. So I used to do a lot of other videos.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. This has been very fun, and thanks for all the input and me being able to come in with you guys.
Yeah, check the description. I got both their channels down there, but I'll actually throw Lance's channel right there. And let's see here. Aw, Dave. You were thinking of me after the live stream. Yeah, I always think of you. Damn Cody. Any sentiment on EV? So we got 54 people still in here, somewhere around there. Gerry and I are talking about this option, maybe switching it up a little bit and adding stock chat to this live stream as well going forward, not just options. If anybody wants to have us talk about stocks too, then let us know. We can, start throwing that in the streams too. My sentiment on EV, I think EV is fine. I think EV's, probably because the government's forcing it, right? It wouldn't have probably happened on its own. We skipped natural gas, right? I think EV, the government's subsidizing that. There's a major amount of tax credit for EV and solar and all that stuff. So if it wasn't for the government forcing EV, it probably wouldn't have happened. My thought is because it's going to happen, it's going to be the next, big thing. But beyond that, luckily he didn't touch, on self-driving, but because that's a whole different thing. But honestly, EV, our grid can't support it right now. We can't support it. Planes are going to be EV. Transport are going to be EV. We're talking about boats, big ships. Trains aren't going to be EV. So there's, it's sort of like passenger cars, right? And the battery technology is not quite there yet. We're not there yet. That's the thing. It's going to happen slowly. Beyond that, I do think it's going to be big, but that's only because the government subsidized it, in my opinion. Any thoughts on those? Either of those?
Yeah, I agree mostly. In the long term, I think it will be pretty popular. All these major brands are going to do all these EV, Volkswagen, Toyota, pretty much all across the board. But yeah, the infrastructure isn't there yet. You could do different plays on, I think there was one company, Blink, that are doing the charging stations. That might be an interesting way to go, because if you could build the infrastructure and they have that available, that might be another play to do. But I agree, it's going to take a while. It might be in the next 10 years or so.
You know my sentiment. Give me my ICE engine, or give me my diesel RV. Our RVs ain't going to be electric.
No.
You ain't gonna shove a £30,000 bus up 10,000 feet up a mountain on electric. Not gonna do it.
Unless you're Nikola and then make a fake ad about it.
Yeah.
Well, so electric, I don't know. I think they're DC if I'm not mistaken, not AC, but they got a lot of torque. There's a boatload of torque in those damn things. Like you can go up a mountain, Gerry, more than your freaking Allison will probably put you up there in your Detroit. But there's a lot of torque in electric engines, or motor. They're called motors, not engines, but long-term leaps. Yeah. Well, so he's probably talking about long-term leaps on EV. The thing is timing.
Yeah.
The reason I say timing is you got the Zennials and you got the Gen Xers here. You got one boomer in the middle, but so the thing is the timing. You get Zennials and young people that actually think the EV is going to happen tomorrow. Like they honestly think it's going to happen tomorrow, but it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time before we're at 50%, let alone 100% of every car on the road. Gasoline will never go away. It'll never go away, and in probably anybody's lifetime in this stream or on the chat, it'll never go away ever. It's always going to be around. It's going to be expensive, probably, between $5, $10, $20, $30, $40 a gallon, but it'll never go away because all those classic cars, right? You get to still drive them. So it's timing. That's the problem with leaps on EV, right? When is it going to happen?
You got political risks in that timing too. I mean,
yeah,
administrations can change.
Self-driving. You throw that in there, and that extends it by another 10 years, in my opinion. Yep. What is Lance's YouTube channel name? It's Investing Teacher. Didn't you see the description?
Yeah, I wrote it down
at the beginning, Cody. You would have known that. But go check the video description. I got Gerry's channel down there added, and I got Lance's channel, Investing Teacher, added down there as well. Hello, Gerry. Let's see. C. Richards. What's Gerry's and Dave's channel? My channel is the stream, so you can just literally scroll down the bottom, and you're on my channel. And then Gerry's channel is GW ETF. I always say ETF, or I always say Life, G whatever, but I'm old school. School. ETF channel. Gerry, what? Gerry's the hell is it? Gerry.
Damn it.
GW ETF channel.
There you go.
It's not as easy as Investing Teacher. Yeah, thanks for putting that in there. Texas will be screwed on the EV. Yeah, well, I mean, so that's another thing about EV. Like, they haven't really built the infrastructure. The only infrastructure they built was wind and solar and all that, but they haven't put money into the existing grid, right? So you can upgrade all the grid. You get infrastructure bill that's only 5% going to bridges and roads. Is any of that going to EV? We're talking about the existing grid. The existing grid can't support everybody plugging their damn car in
and running their air conditioner.
Matter of fact, your state can't even run the air conditioner, let alone have EV. When I lived there, we had brownouts and blackouts all the time. Telling you not to freaking turn on until after 9 p.m. and shit. Yeah. EV ETF. Do you know an ETF that has EV, Gerry?
There's quite a few of them. I think I've done one on IDRV. I actually looked for an ETF to do options on, and there's really not a whole lot out there, or one that I was interested in anyway. But there's quite a bit of ETFs out there.
I think one of the ARCs will come out with one.
I mean, there basically are. ARCs is just ARC ETFs or something else. But
what other play is there besides? So you got Tesla, you got like Plug Power. There's some other charging ones and stuff. I mean, is that what an ETF play would be? It would be like charging and grid and battery makers and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why IDRV is the iDrive. It's kind of like that, but it also has some autonomous in there as well. So,
what are your thoughts on EV, Lance?
I I like the premiums right now on them, but sure, some of them are going to fall and go to bankruptcy. It's going to be hard to know exactly who's going to be the winner in this case of it. But
That's
in the
true.
short term, I like the premiums, so that's why I've been trading them.
So for Lawrence here, yeah, leaps is kind of risky because it's the timing's the biggest risk in my opinion, but it's also the stock pick. That's why an ETF would be great probably for a leap, but it's the timing factor. You put it out 2 years. The problem is probably I don't think there's leaps usually past 2 years usually. So
No.
2 years is
And
not
right
enough
now,
time.
right now we're at a year and a half now almost.
Yeah,
So.
there's not enough time for 2 years is not enough time for EV. So that's a problem. Like you said, we need a better, yeah, absolutely. Mileage is not there. I don't want freaking range anxiety. I would have range anxiety for sure. Hey, thanks for Omar. GW, we're down near the bottom here, so we'll end this. GW put a long solar panel along. Yeah, well, it's not. There's normally multiple.
Yeah.
Just subscribe to Hidden Freedom. Hey, thanks for that, Richard. Not Richard. Shit, Steve. Steve Richards. Make sure you subscribe to Lance, Investing Teacher, and Gerry as well. I appreciate it. We'll see you next week as well. So we'll just take this last question here, and then we'll end it. Concerning about ice storms when owning an EV car, what will happen to the city if the power out? Yeah, exactly. It's like a double-edged sword.
You would need backup gas generators.
Yeah,
because solar ain't going to do shit, right? Like, solar can charge a little bit in cloudy conditions, but not very much. You're not going to be able to charge a big ass battery like that. You're right. There is no solution for that. Yeah, you better have a diesel generator.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've really been able to. Let's see. Monothonically, shit, I can't pronounce that one. That's like statistics. Streamline dynamic process with a new. Holy cow! Okay, never mind.
it's
Somebody's playing a joke on me. Gerry, you take this one.
Nope. We're done.
There's one. It's not just one word. I can't even pronounce half the words in the sentence.
I would say, yeah, they'll really be able to monotonectally streamline dynamic processes with the new phosphorescently predominate cross-unit testing procedures. How's that?
I think you said it right.
We all need flux capacitors in our cars. That's what we need. Hey, thanks a lot for joining, Lance. We appreciate you coming on, hanging out for 2.5 hours almost. And, like I said, everybody's welcome any time to come back. If you want to ever come back, let us know. Gerry, as always, appreciate it. Everybody in the chat, appreciate it as well for showing up on a Sunday night here. And we'll be back next week. We'll probably switch it up a little bit, and maybe throw stocks in there too if people want to talk about stocks. The problem is you guys are probably going to bring up a bunch of stocks I just don't freaking know and really honestly don't care about. But we'll try to do our best. So
you talk
you want to do a shout out or a goodbye or whatever, a sign off?
We can talk ETFs. We can talk general investing. It doesn't have to be just options. If you guys got a question, throw it in there. I don't mind. Me and Dave don't mind, bouncing ideas off stuff. So just thank you for showing up. Thanks for subscribing to me and Dave and Lance. And thank you.
Yep. Thanks for having me on, guys. This was really fun. I'd like to hear all these different perspectives we have.
Hey, it's been fun, y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Take care. Just have a good week. And like I said, Randy's going to have surgery this week. So just, if you're religious or whatever, say whatever you say for that. All right, everybody, take care.
Bye, guys.